Good morning to all the participants of the virtual CP meeting on institutional framework of MSME. We have with us today's resource person, CA Priyanka Gupta, who has also undergone through our certificate course on MSME organized by the Committee on MSME. I think first or second batch she has done her certificate course on MSME. So that with this, we welcome to our resource person, CA Priyanka Gupta. We have with us our committed, vibrant and dynamic Vice Chairman, CA Dr. Raj Chawla. I am right now handing over the session to CA Dr. Raj Chawla for his address.
Thank you, Sambiji. Good morning to all. Dear professional colleagues, at the outside, I am happy to be part of a virtual CP meeting on MSME institutional framework organized by the Committee on MSME and Startup of ICI. We are thankful to all the participants and resource person, CA Priyanka Gupta ji, for joining in this virtual CP meeting. The role of SME in developing and emerging economies is undisputed and is well recognized. Contribution significantly to the employment generation. As a group, CME provides greater level of employment than large firms, predominantly and rural development. SME are considered to be the engine of growth. The world over, SME stimulates immovable ideas, business methods, and entrepreneurial skills. They are flexible and can adapt quickly to changing market demand and supply situation, help in diversifying economic activity, and make a significant contribution to individual development and exports. Thus, it is not surprising that the establishment and promotion of SME across the globe has assumed strategic importance. Financial sector plays an indispensable role in the rural development of a country. The most important constituent of this sector is the financial institution, which act as a conduit for the transfer of resources from net savior to net borrower. That is, from those who spend less their earning to those who spend more than their earning. The financial institutions have traditionally been major source of long-term fund for the economy. These institutions provide a variety of financial products and services to fulfill the varied need of the commercial sector. Besides, they provide assistance to new enterprises, small and medium firms, as well as for the industrial established in background area. Thus, they have helped in reducing regional disparities by inducing widespread industrial development. Here, researchers have made an attempt to give a clear picture of financial institution for MSME sector. SME are the focal point of economic growth. In order to support SME, various central, state, and private institutions such as IFCI, IDBI, SIDBI, SFC, NSIC, venture capital firms, etc., have evolved in India. These institutions are playing very vital role in facilitating financial and non-financial resources for small-scale industries across their desire. I am happy to inform you that today's session will highlight on the MSME institutional framework. We hope that your enactment of the knowledge in the SME sphere help you in future endeavor. Thanks and best of luck for your future professional and personal endeavor. Thank you. Thank you, Sambiji.
With this, we are handing over the session to CA Priyanka Gupta.
Hello. Hello, good morning, everyone. Sambiji, can I start the session?
Yeah, start, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, ICI, for providing me this platform. And thank you all the committee members for giving me this opportunity. My name is CA Priyanka Gupta. I'm partner at Cation Associates, chartered accountant firm located in Kolkata. I carry an experience of 10 years and I've been active in startup and MSME forum since a few years. I have been member with various organizations, NGOs, and I've been doing work in this platform. So with this, So with this, I'll start to begin the session today. I'll start my screen sharing. Yeah, the topic is institutional framework for MSME. It seems boring, but it is a very important topic because institutional framework means all the rules, regulations, stakeholders, and all the people who strengthen the MSME ecosystem. So it is very important to understand the institutional framework of MSME. To begin with, I will highlight what is DPIT, what role DPIT plays, what are the functions of DPIT, what are the various schemes which are being coordinated by DPIT, and then I will move forward to the schemes. And the most important thing, I will highlight whatever practical experiences which I have gathered in these years, because I think theory is one thing, but practical experience, when it is combined with theory, it imbibes into your mind. So I'll make this session as interactive as possible. And now I'm beginning the topic DPIIT. Yes. So what is DPIIT? DPIIT stands for Department for Promotion of Industry and Industrial Trade. You should focus on the word internal trade. Earlier, this was not, it has been added. Now the ambit of DPIIT has been increased and the focus has also been shifted to internal trade. DPIIT is basically working under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. The role of DPIIT can be summarized in three important legs. First, DPIIT's overall objective is to promote industrial development of the country. And how does DPIIT do so? DPIIT do so by facilitating investment in new and upcoming technology. Whatever innovative technologies are coming up, DPIIT facilitates that. DPIIT facilitates startups and innovative technologies. Another big role of DPIIT is attracting foreign direct investment, accelerating and attracting foreign direct investment. And the overall balanced development and support of industries and trade is also a role which is being played by DPIIT. Moving forward, there are various, according to the allocation of business rules, various responsibility been given to DPIIT, which includes the following matter. Overall general industrial policy, DPIIT is responsible for administration of the industries, grant of industrial licenses, acknowledging industrial entrepreneurs memorandum, industrial management, productivity in industry, matters related to e-commerce and startups, facilitating ease of doing business, promotion of internal trade, including retail trade, welfare of traders and their employees, integrated development of logistics sector. Apart from this, DPIIT also handles matters related to protection of intellectual property rights, that is IPR, and foreign direct investment. Moving forward, one major scheme in which DPIIT is playing an important role is the Make in India initiative. Make in India initiative was launched in 2014 to facilitate investment, foster innovation, and building best-in-class infrastructure. Basically, the aim of Make in India initiative was to make India a global world-class manufacturing hub. The Government of India wants India to be seen in world platform as a world-class manufacturing hub. Since its launch of Make in India program, significant achievements have been made. This scheme focuses on 27 sectors under Make in India 2.0. Basically, Make in India initiative was introduced in order to incentivize and encourage MSMEs. DPIT is coordinating action plans for 15 manufacturing sectors. But now DPIT is working closely with 24 subsectors. These 24 subsectors are important because it have been chosen keeping in mind the Indian industry's strength, competitive edge, need for import substitution, potential for export, and lastly, increased employability. These subsectors are very much important. We as a chartered accountant come across situation where clients come to us and ask about in which sector we should start a business or what are the sectors in which I can reap maximum benefit from government schemes. So I want to emphasize that these are the sectors in which a business can reap benefits. These are air conditioners, electronics, textiles, furnitures, leather and footwear, ready to eat. Ready to eat also is a very much important sector and government is putting much emphasis on this. Fisheries, agri-produce. I would also like to mention one thing. FY 2023 have been declared as International Year of Millets. And government is providing all the marketing, promotion, benefits to the people who are into millet production, into marketing of millets, and into export of millets. So I would like to emphasize that our CA friends could guide their clients on this opportunity. If someone is into this food processing business, agri-business, that they can take advantage of this year, which have been earmarked as International Year of Millets. It is a big opportunity. Moving forward, DPIT also plays an important role in ease of doing business. In order to improve the business environment in the country, DPIT has taken up a series of measures to simplify and rationalize the regulatory processes. That is registration and inspection processes and use of information technology as the enabler to make governance as efficient as possible. India ranks 63rd in the World Bank's annual Doing Business report, that is DBR 2020. Earlier, its rank was 77th in DBR 2019. There has been a jump of 14 ranks. It shows that Government of India is constantly making effort to increase the rank of India in the World Bank's Ease of Doing report to showcase India as a country where it is not very tough to start a business and to take the business to a global level. DPIT has been directed by Cabinet Secretary to act as the nodal department for coordinating the exercise of minimizing regulatory compliance burden for citizens and businesses. Recently, the SPICE Plus form has been introduced by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. This form is quite simple. Many of the CA friends must be aware of this. Like in this form, many host of features which was earlier required to be done individually has been clubbed. Likewise, you can go for the name allocation, you can go for the tax registration, GST registration, you can go for the incorporation of company in a single form. Only one form you have to fill and then all the things are taken care of. So this is a great move of like MCA in this direction. And I hope so in coming years, more reforms will be made, which will increase the image of India in the World Bank Doing Business report. A systematic exercise across central ministries, departments, states and union territories is being undertaken by DPIT to eliminate or reduce compliances which have been adverse effect on time and cost of businesses. Like DPIT is focusing on how to eliminate the time and cost, how to ease, like how businesses can easily incorporate their business with minimal time and effort. This is the focus of DPIT. Moving forward, Startup India initiative. This is one of the important initiative in which DPIT is playing an important role. And we as a chartered accountant should focus on this Startup India initiative because there are a lot of opportunities for CA, especially in this Startup India initiative. So let me introduce what is Startup India initiative. Startup India is a flagship initiative of the Government of India intended to catalyze startup culture and build a strong and inclusive ecosystem for innovation and entrepreneurship in India. That is, the focus of government is to provide a robust ecosystem for development of startup culture in the country. The emphasis of this Startup India initiative is that the Startup India Action Plan was launched in 2016 with the objective of supporting entrepreneurs, building up a robust startup ecosystem, and transforming India into a country of job creators instead of job seekers. The government wants to shift the focus from job creators to job seekers through this initiative. DPIT, if recognizes a startup, there are a host of benefits available to startup, like easier compliance, as I told earlier, that if a startup is being recognized by DPIT, they can take like the self-certification of 9 laws, that is 6 like labor laws and 3 environmental laws. They can self-certify, and no inspection will be done for the period of 3 to 5 years by the department officers. So this is one of the benefit if an entity is recognized as a startup by DPIT. The second is that the tax benefits are there. There is a tax holiday of 3 years, but there are conditions for getting this incentive, tax holiday of 3 years. But yes, if a startup has been recognized by DPIT, they can avail this opportunity of tax holiday of 3 years, and in which like they don't have to pay any taxes. And another benefit of recognizing as Startup India enterprises, they can take the IPR benefits. By IPR benefits, I mean there is a 50% rebate in the trademark filing fees for the recognized startups, and 80% like exemption in the filing fees for the recognized DPIT startup. Also, the governments provide the consultant and the advisory for this IPR. They provide a panel, hand-holding, and the application of IPR is also fast-tracked if in case of startup which is DPIT recognized. There are other benefits that an entity can avail if it is recognized as a startup by DPIT. So we as a chartered accountant can always guide our clients who have started their business in 10 years that they can avail this opportunity of Startup India, because there are a lot of leverages which they can take if they are registered as startup in Startup India portal and then recognized subsequently by the DPIIT. So we as a CA consultant can tell our clients that we can help you out in getting registered in Startup India portal, and then further we can help you out in getting recognized by the DPIIT. This is an avenue for the CA community which they can encash. And apart from that, they can also go in the non-traditional fields, like they can also help the startup clients with the IPR registration, with patent filing, with trademark registration, so that they can, apart from the accounting and taxation services, they can provide the whole lot of things which a business needs, like incorporation services, registration under various departments, and then the funding support. They can help them how they can obtain the funding. They can guide them about the seed fund scheme, which have been introduced in 2021, which a startup can avail. They can guide them how they can exit if the business are not going. In case of DPIT recognized startups, the exit process is also very faster. Within 90 days, it is done. So there are a host of benefits if a startup is recognized by DPIT. So I'll say all my CA community to avail this opportunity of Startup India and help your clients get the benefits which have been provided by the government under the scheme. Moving forward, foreign direct investment. DPIIT is the nodal department for formulation of policy of the government on foreign direct investment. It is also responsible for maintenance and management of data on inward FDI into India, based upon the remittances reported by the Reserve Bank of India. The DPIIT plays an active role in the liberalization and rationalization of the FDI policy. DPIIT is a single point interference of the government to facilitate investors for foreign direct investment through approval route. In this regard, a new portal, that is www.fifp.gov.in, has been created, which is administered by this department, and the portal will continue to facilitate the single window clearance of application which are through approval route. DPIIT is the competent authority for grant of approvals, rejections of foreign investment proposals requiring government approval in case of trading, single multi-brand or food product retail trading. Moving forward, DPIIT also plays an important role in national Ipr policy. Let's see how. The national Ipr policy, approved on 12th of May 2016, lays the roadmap for intellectual property in India. The policy lays down the following objectives: IPR awareness, generation of IPRs, legal and legislative framework, administration and management, commercialization of IPR, enforcement and adjudication, human capital development. These objectives are sought to be achieved through detailed action plans. The action by different ministries, department is to be monitored by DPIIT, which is the nodal department to coordinate, guide, and oversee implementation and future development of IPRs in India. DPIIT is the nodal department for administration of various laws related to intellectual property rights in the country, such as patents, trademarks, industrial designs, geographical indications, copyrights, semiconductor integrated circuits. The negotiation on IPR chapter under various international trade agreements are also being done by DPIIT. As I earlier mentioned, the filing fees for patents and designs were brought down by 80% and 50% respectively for MSMEs. Moving forward, design clinic scheme. DPIIT is also playing an important role in this design clinic scheme of government. The design clinic scheme project is being implemented by National Institute of Design, NID, across the country as part of the National Design Policy formulated by DPIIT. Objective is to improve the manufacturing competency of the MSMEs through design, intervention to their products and services, and to provide them design edge in the global market, and hence support the Make in India program of the Government of India. By this scheme, I would like to mention that the entrepreneurs, the business owners, can avail the benefit of design clinic scheme and can design their product at par with the world-class designs by availing these facilities, and government is supporting a lot the entrepreneurs and businessmen through this scheme. Moving forward, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO activities. DPIIT is also playing important role in this regard. DPIIT is the nodal department for all matters related to UNIDO operations in India. UNIDO and DPIIT have worked on the preparation of the UNIDO Country Programming Framework 2018 to 22. It is foreseen to continue and expand the ongoing work in regards to competitive and resilient MSMEs and climate, environment, and resource solutions, complemented with new results in regard to inclusive value chains and responsible business and strategy for industrial transformation. Moving forward, design clinic scheme, I've already discussed. Moving forward, yeah. Okay. Okay. So this was the all in the MSME intellectual framework. Now I would like to give the practical things which I think is more important for the CA community, and I want to share my hardcore practical experience which I have gained in these years. Whenever I attend a meeting of MSME, like 2 days before only I attended a meeting which was being sponsored by Government of West Bengal and Merchant Chamber of Commerce. And then in MSME helpline, that meeting, I observed the major concerns and problems which MSME face. I think these concerns we as a CA should be aware of so that we can find the proper solutions and we can provide value to clients. Nowadays, I think just accounting and taxation won't give the business, neither ourselves a satisfaction that we are providing some value addition to clients. Client nowadays want an overall 360-degree advice. How they can grow their business, how they can take advantage of various schemes of government and other bank schemes, how they can scale their product, how they can move to overseas, how they can export their product. These are the concerns of MSME apart from the regular taxation and accounting and auditing and compliance thing. So during that meeting, what I observed that one thing that the MSMEs were concerned with, GEM registration. Yeah, this is also a very good avenue for chartered accountants, GEM registration. Although the GEM registration, this portal was launched 3-4 years back, but there are still glitches. As per the GFR rules, every government organization and PSUs are bound to purchase goods from MSMEs. 25% of the procurement should be made from MSMEs. In that, 4% should be from women, especially women entrepreneurs. So, as per the GFR rules, for whatever needs, whatever procurement government department and PSUs want, they have to go to GEM, and then through GEM, they need to procure the services or goods or product, whatever they need. So any MSME who want to get linked with government contracts, they want that I have been supplying to private players, but now I want to supply to government, big PSUs, listed companies. So how I can do that? They are aware that there is GEM portal. They were very much aware. Even they have, some has created their profile also, but they are not able to reap the benefit of GEM portal because of the technical glitches like product catalog and how to list their product, how to describe all these things. They are not aware of. We as a chartered accountant can help them in this aspect. We can help them to sell their products to government and PSUs by taking benefit of GEM portal, by hand-holding them. We can guide them how they can, if someone is not registered, we can guide them how they can create their profile, how they can list their product, how they can catalog their product, all these things. And then we can help them in procuring government tenders. So this is also an area which we generally not look into as a chartered accountant. We are just focused on the traditional aspect. So if you are giving source of revenue to clients, clients are very much happy. They are happy to shed their money also if you're giving advisory on this aspect, how they can acquire government clients, PSU clients. So GEM is one of that opportunity which CAs can avail. It is very much underrated, but I would like to emphasize that many MSMEs, I have attended a lot of meetings, they are not able to take the benefit of GEM portal. They are struggling and we can really help them in this aspect. Yeah, this was one of the concerns regarding GEM, which I usually hear from MSMEs whenever I attend the meetings, that they are not able to like register and all these things. The second concern which I like usually hear from MSMEs are relating to funding. How I can obtain funding, how I can obtain loan, so that I can expand my business, I can modify my business, I can take it to a different level. So in this, we as a chartered accountant can tell them about what are the government schemes. Apart from government schemes, there are many good schemes being floated by banks, by financial institutions, by CPE, by PSU banks, which are also providing a great benefit to MSMEs. And MSMEs are not very much aware about this. One major mistakes which MSME frequently do, I've seen that if they want to avail any benefits like CGTMSE, GECL, all that, they go to their local branch who is not into this MSME funding very much. They are into retail aspect like home loan, personal loan. And so they are not very much bothered. They are not having so much knowledge about also these schemes, and they are not very much bothered to sanction loans under this scheme. So what we can advise our client, that if they want specific schemes benefit, they should go to the SME branch. Every PSU bank has a SME branch which caters to SME, and they are very much aware of the schemes, and they are keen to sanction loan under this MSME schemes, because they are specifically been like the motto of that branch is SME finance. So I will tell my CA friends to guide their clients, and should also handhold them whenever they want to secure finance. They should go to the dedicated SME branch of any PSU bank. This will help them out in securing finance faster, and for silly reasons their proposal will not be turned down. So this is one practical thing which I want to share with my CA fraternity. And second is for women entrepreneurs, there is a very good scheme called Stand Up India Initiative. I will urge my CA community friends to help the women entrepreneurs and SC/ST marginal community for whom this scheme is. Up to 1 CR is the funding which is available for greenfield project. Obviously, it is for new project. It is not for the existing business. For new projects, greenfield project, they can secure finance under this scheme. And guarantee is also there, CGTMSE guarantee. So this is one of the good scheme, Stand Up India Initiative, which my CA friends could advise their clients, especially women entrepreneurs, to avail the benefit of. And for startup, I would say the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. It is also very good opportunity for CA, I would say, because when you look at the detailed gadgeted guidelines and the formalities required for availing this Stand Up India Seed Fund Scheme, you will know that a lot of things, lot of documentation, lot of requirements are there, which if a CA is hand-holding a client, could be done easily. For example, there is a pitch deck or investor deck, which you have to put, and you have to explain how you will use the fund you will obtain during the course of time. So I think CA is a very good person who can make the forecast, design the revenue model, the investment pattern, how the startup will use the funds if they get one under the scheme over the years. They can help in designing the documentation relating to that. They can help the client with preparation of investor deck and pitch deck. Please note that it is not a very difficult thing, and not just for other professionals. Pitch decks or investor deck can be prepared by CA also. It is not a rocket science. In simple words, I would like to say a one-page teaser investor deck. I will also say my CA community whenever they are advising their client for availing this schemes, government scheme, or going to venture capitalist for securing fund, all that, they should always advise their client that they should prepare, they should have a detailed business plan, but apart from that, they should have an executive summary or pitch deck or teaser, one page teaser for their like business model and revenue model. And a CA can help in preparing that with the detailed plan also, which has the vision, detailed business plan, which contains a lot of aspects. And in the teaser, they can help with what is the problem which as a startup you are seeing in the community, and how your product is solving that problem, how you'll be earning revenue from your business model, what will be the revenue model, what is the future. These are the like broad aspects which are like incorporated in a teaser, one page teaser. So the investors who are getting thousands of mails and everything in a day-to-day basis, they can get a crisp idea in a span of 1 to 2 minutes by looking at the teaser. So this is a very good opportunity. I'll urge my CA friends to look into these aspects also. We are very much focused on that traditional services, but we do not look at this aspect also, that we can also provide benefit to client, and we can leverage this opportunity also. And when the client comes to us, we can provide a 360-degree support to the client. We can help them in pre-seed stage. We can help them with the pitch deck, with the business model, with the finance model. And then we can help them with the incorporation of entity, whether it is company, LLP, one person, or register partnership. We can help them with the incorporation of entity. Then we can help them in securing the various licenses, various registration. Then we can help them in the funding, and then we can help them in day-to-day compliance, which is taxation, indirect taxation, direct taxation, with the auditing aspect, with the accounting aspect. So like this, if we approach our client giving a 360-degree view, there will be a lot of value addition for client. At the same time, we as a professional will uplift our image. Nowadays, there are a lot of news that the CA community is not providing so much value. If we look into this aspect and we provide an overall advisory to the client, I don't think so any client will have a line to say that I did not get any value addition from this CA. My CA is very much focused on this thing only. And to be very honest with you all, whenever I attend these meetings, like MSME meetings, and I give webinar and all that, one thing also I regularly hear from that, it's very harsh, but you are all my family. I won't mind speaking honestly with you all, that they are having a very bad image of chartered accounting. They say they are just having a fault finding attitude. This have been gone wrong. ये गलत हो गया business में, आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने इतना देर से दिया, हम कैसे बनाए आपका, ये है पेनल्टी लग जाएगा, वो लग जाएगा. तो they are having a very negative impression कि CA के पास जब भी जाते हैं ना, ये कुछ ना कुछ गलत बताता है या कुछ ना कुछ ऐसी चीजें बताता है जो अपसेट कर जाता है. कभी कुछ ऐसा नहीं बताता है कि जिससे हमारा बिजनेस आगे बढ़े. कौन सा ऐसा इनिशिएटिव है जिसको हम ले तो हमारे बिजनेस को हम आगे बढ़ा सके, like the various schemes. Actually, many times this also comes whenever I attend the meetings, that land issue. MSMEs, they are into business since 5 years, 10 years. They are running well. Now they want to scale up. They are having a particular factory. Now they want to expand that factory. And for that, they want land, and they want an advice relating to land. Where I can get the land, and where I can get the easy clearances for setting up my factory. These are the things they are looking for. So we can advise them that there are non-traditional ways. They can go for the government. In West Bengal, there is WBSIDC. There the allotment of factory land is easier. for getting the clearances is also easier rather than compared to the traditional approach. So you can guide them in, they can establish the unit in industrial park, food parks, SEZ. So in this way, they can get the land allotment also, and their business will also increase manifold. So advisory is the need of hour, I'll say. CA can advise in all these aspects to MSMEs so that they can scale up their business. So this is the one thing which I thought I would share with you. And other concerns which I feel that एक और प्रॉब्लम है, एक तो पैसा लोन कैसे मिले, और दूसरी प्रॉब्लम है कि जो पैसा हमने सामान बेचा है या सर्विस दी है, how will collect the money, like fund collection. It is also very much like pertinent problem in India. When an MSME supplies goods, yeah, provides services, their funds are blocked. They are not receiving the funds in a short span of time. And due to this, their working capital is blocked, liquidity crunch is there, they are not able to scale up. All this issue happens. So MSME always want an advice, what we can do if we have this situation, what are the alternatives, legal alternatives available to us. So there is a portal called Samadhan portal. The objective of this portal is to look into the delayed payment. As per the MSME Act 2006, payment of MSME vendor should be made within 45 days. If there is a delay, MSME can very well approach this portal and they can file an application for delayed payment, and the remedy will be provided to them. Obviously, there is procedure for doing so. In every, this MSME Samadhan portal acts as a central portal where we can lodge the application, and thereafter the application is being forwarded to State Facilitation Center. In every state, there is a State Facilitation Center which takes up the matter and helps in resolving the issues of delayed payment. And it is a remedy available, but I think the stats are not very much encouraging in this facilitation, the state facilitation centers, due to like shortage of manpower or other glitches, the resolution process is not very much fast. But yes, there is an option, and we can always guide our client that this is also an option. If your money is blocked, if someone has defrauded you, they are not paying you, and you have suffered a loss, you can go in this way. We can advise a client about this MSME Samadhan portal. Apart from that, what I can see that the concerns of MSME are like they want like the MSMEs who are doing well, they want advisory relating to, they want to go global. So they want export advisory also. So I will not say that we can have a broad picture of what are the areas in which export opportunities are there, what are the sectors or products in which if a businessman go into export, they can reap benefits, what are the FTA available of which the units can take advantage. Like there is a FTA available recently, in May 2022 only with UAE, the FTA was made applicable, and this is a very good FTA. Earlier FTA was having some lacuna, but in this the government of India has negotiated the terms very well, and here the focus of the government was more towards export rather than imports, and the terms of this FTA is aligned towards Make in India initiative. So we can have a broad overview of this FTA, and we can guide our clients what in which countries they can export their products, what are the market intelligence, a brief introduction about the market intelligence we can give them. And these are not very hard things. There are data available in public domain. You can always read that, and then you can advise them about this thing in relating to export. And also there is an opportunity, I would say, that MSME DI, that is MSME Development Institutes, it's in every state. It is under like the Ministry of MSME. They are having a export promotion council, EPC cell, and EPC cell gives advice, hand holding, facilitation for export to MSME units. So they want to rope in CAs for as an advisor or consultant for delivering this service. So we as a chartered accountant can always contact them that we are having a knowledge of export, broad exposure, and we can help the like government, and we can subsequently help the MSME unit in this like export thing. We can guide them how to move forward, what FTAs they can take benefit of, what are the government like thirst areas, which like PLI schemes and other schemes which they can take advantage of, and then we can create an avenue for ourselves in this area also. So as I told, this is also a non-traditional areas, but CA can take advantage of this. I think I have deliberated what I think was important for my CA fraternity, and I'm open to questions. Whatever questions you feel, I'm happy to answer that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I'm open to question. Any question I would love to answer. First of all, I also like to I have shared my perspective, but I would love to know, there are many CA friends, there are many seniors also, and I would love to know through chat that they're also meeting clients on day-to-day basis. What are the problems their clients have told them, MSME clients, which they feel they want like specific advice on? So please through chat, everyone let me know what problems of MSME they have like been told when like having chat with the MSME clients, what problems they face. Please write in chat box. I would be happy to see your like comments. Yeah, one question is, yeah, if the decision of the ME facilitation center is not implemented by the buyer, what are the specific damages to the buyer? What is the appellate authority after decision fails? Who all are going to be parties to the appellate proceedings? Will MEFC become a party to the appellate proceedings? Yeah, this I would like to say that if the MSME facilitation centers, whenever the application has been filed with the portal, then the portal like directs to the state MSME facilitation center who takes up the matter, and then a hearing is being scheduled between both the parties, between the vendor and the supplier, like who is not paying the money. There is a process. After the hearing, if mutual settlement is done, then it is okay. If the vendor receives the payment through mutual settlement, if not, more hearings are there. And finally, if the like after the outcome of hearing is that it is in favor of arbitration procedures also comes into play at latter stage. Arbitration takes the lead. There is a arbitration like department and the MSME facilitation center. They takes up the charge, and then they also do the hearing. And then if the award comes in favor of the vendor, I would say this is not very encouraging. The saddest part is that even if the award comes in favor of the vendor who have filed the application, the award is enforced through civil court. So it takes a lot of time. Even if the vendor wins, it is in favor. The vendor has to the award is being in final implementation is done through courts. So it becomes a civil case. And when the things go to court, it takes time. So there is a delay. I would not say the remedy is not provided, but there is a delay. And many times, do you think this will dilute the overall role of the core profile? Uh, if you can mention something more core profile, I'll have a better idea. Akash. Yeah, as I told, this MSME Facilitation Center is there, but the stats are not very much encouraging. If you will go to the MSME Samadhan portal, you can very well see the number of application filed and number of application turned into cases, number of cases resolved. The stats are not very much encouraging. So here also I'll say CR are having opportunities. They can like contact the facilitation centers and they can tell them to rope in them for the arbitration services. They can contact them because as I've heard through the Chamber of Commerce, there are very limited number of people. And I have specifically heard in Bihar, Jharkhand, the status is very much like from the committee members who was the chairman of the MSME council of a particular Chamber of Commerce. He specifically told me that the state the situation is not very good in Bihar and Jharkhand. There are very less people and the things are getting delayed. So we as a chartered accountant can also go there and we can see what opportunities can get unfold. And this is also an area I would say for chartered accountants where we can leverage the benefit. Can there be multiple MSME registration by a sole proprietorship for a different line of business? Also, can a partnership firm have multiple MSME registration for different line of? I think MSME Zim registration is PAN based. So if a sole proprietorship is having one PAN, so it is PAN based. So I think PAN will be there, same PAN for same PAN. I think Udyam registration, they'll tag that. So it is PAN wise, I will say, rather than state wise and both. This is PAN wise. And anything else? My client to college for have innovation inclusion center to create enterprise skill of their various students. Can you please guide me to locate this thing? Guideline. Client college. Yeah. If a college or a NGO, anyone wants to like have a incubation center, or there are government scheme, and especially in Startup India portal also you can register as an incubator. In seed fund scheme also there is an option for the startup entity, and there is also an option for the incubators who want to register there, who want to handhold and provide funding. So you can take benefit of that schemes. You can definitely do that. Mr. Palla Swami. Anything else? I would love to answer. And one thing, meanwhile, I just also want to say to my CA fraternity, the one thing which is lacking in us is the confidence. This is the only thing which is downgrading our image. Whenever any issues comes in front of us, we should be confident. We are done our training, we are doing business advisory since long, but since they are just technical jargons, we feel less confidence. So I'll say that confidence is very much required. If we are not aware of any scheme or anything or any circular, we can always read that. We can visit the government portals and acquire sufficient knowledge, and then we can give an advice. So it's not something that we cannot do. There is nothing in the world which cannot be done. There is always a way out for anything. Both central government and state governments are providing incentive. Can MSME unit apply under both? Yes, they can apply very well, because in I can say about West Bengal also. There are West Bengal Shilpo Shati. There are many state government initiatives. which they can avail, and there are central government initiative also they can take advantage of. So yeah, they can very well apply for both if they are meeting the criteria. There are criteria, too many criteria, and where we see can handle the client that they are eligible or not, and they can set up the client in, especially I'll say in West Bengal. I had an experience in like West Bengal government is providing like for entity who is establishing industry in the like remote areas. There is zone as per the like West Bengal policy. There are many zones and zones and clusters. Like one is Coach Bihar. It falls under zone D or E. It is very backward, and there the one of the client, he established the rice mill unit, and he availed a lot of like benefits, electricity like benefit. There was a rebate. There was a rebate in patent. There was a rebate in tax. Many of the benefits are being provided by state government for setting up like units and those areas. So we can always guide them about the state policies they can take advantage of and handhold them. Any more questions? I would love to answer. Yeah. So no more questions. Yeah. So actually, I have also put a question in front of all of you that what problems you generally face when you communicate with your MSME clients, what problems they are facing. Because whatever I've given, it is my side of story. I also would love to hear from your side what problems they raise when they meet you, that what problems they are having. So it will be kind of you if you can just write in chat box few areas which they have raised concerns and when you have dealt with them as a professional.
Ma'am, can we go for that one is further? At the end, we can take up the questions.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, some more areas which I would like to emphasize, which is beneficial for our CA community, is the like Startup India I've already discussed, and for the I will say the FPO, Farmer Producer Organization. The government has also like given a mandate of establishing 10,000 FPOs. So they are also putting emphasis on incorporation of FPOs. So we as a chartered accountant can also like get ourselves in panel with the agencies, government agencies, and do the task of incorporation of FPOs, because FPOs will ultimately receive like benefit from agri startups, incubators, and they can they can increase their business. A group of farmers can sell their products globally, and they can showcase their products and take advantage of many schemes. So FPO registration is also a good opportunity for chartered accountants. So I'll say that you can guide your clients who are in rural areas to incorporate as an FPO, because FPO when they are incorporated, they can get a host of benefits. So FPO incorporation is also an area which an chartered accountant can take benefit of FPO incorporation. And also I would like to share that whenever I go to the meetings of this various forums, I feel that the basic things, the basic guidance, like many entities have not taken their Udyam registration also. It is very sad, but it is so. So firstly, we can also go for the basics whenever a client is coming, whether you have taken Udyam registration, because once they take the Udyam registration, many benefits, MSME benefits comes in front of them. Like they can, in public procurement, they have many benefits. EMD waiver is there. They don't have to give the EMD while applying for government tenders. It is equally for the startups. Startups can also go for government tenders, and the prior experience criteria is not there. It has been diluted for them, and they can apply for government tenders. No EMD they have to submit. And there is a whenever there is a tie-up there in the quote being given by non-MSME unit and MSME unit, the benefit is given to MSME units. Even they are quoting more, 15%. If they are even quoting more, the benefit is given to MSME units. And obviously, if a person has registered in Udyam portal, they can take benefit of the protection under the MSMED Act for delaying payment, and they can get a concession in IPR and trademark filing fees, 50% of the trademark fees, and patent 80% concession they are getting if they are registered as an MSME unit. In bank finance, they are treated as priority sector. There is also subvention or equalization, interest equalization scheme for MSME units into export, pre-shipment, post-shipment credit. So if they are registered as an MSME unit, they can take these benefits, interest subvention. And for they can always register as in GEM portal, and they can supply to government. They can also take benefit of trades portal. If suppose I'll touch upon this also, trades portal. It is also a government scheme in which MSME, in a nutshell, I would like to say, MSME can discount their bills. Suppose they have supplied their goods or services to government organization, and they are expecting that they'll receive their money is blocked, and they want quicker receipt of money. Then they can discount their bills. On this platform, there are multiple bankers, financial institution available. They can take the best possible quote of the financial institution which suits them to the MSME, and then they can discount their bill, and they can receive the funds in T+2 days. And in case the buyer defaults in making payment, the threats will not ask the vendor. They'll not scold the vendor. In a very layman term, I'll say they'll not scold the vendor for the wrongdoings of buyer. So they are absolved of the responsibility. So the MSMEs can take benefit of that also, the trades portal. The MI exchange, for example, these are the portals, 3 portals are there, where they can take the benefit of discounting of bills. So any questions in this regard? I would love to answer. Yeah, I think time is there. So I would like to, I would like to share also a handbook which I have written for. It is a proprietary article. Then also that's why I was not able to send it over mail. But I would like to share here. Here I have written a quick guide about Startup India scheme. This guide covers what is Startup India scheme, introduction, launch of Startup India action plan, what was the reason behind the Startup India action plan. You can see that There are three broad pillars of the Startup India Action Plan: simplification and hand-holding, funding support and initiatives, industry-academia partnership, and incubation. So the 19-point action plan emphasizes several incubation centers, easier patent filing, tax exemption, ease of setting up of business, and a 10,000 crore corpus fund, credit guarantee funding, a faster exit mechanism, among others. So as I already discussed, there are a lot of host of benefits if a startup is recognized by DPIT. IPR benefits, as I already told, there is fast tracking of startup patent application. There is panel of facilitator to assist in IP applications. And government will bear the facilitation cost. Entire fees of the facilitators will be borne by the government. And the startup only needs to pay the statutory fees, not the facilitators fees. There is rebate on filing of application, as I've already discussed, 80% rebate in filing of patents vis-a-vis other companies like non-startup, I'll say, and 50% rebate in filing of trademarks. There is relaxation in public procurement norms discussed, with exemption from prior experience or turnover. Like startups will not be required to demonstrate like prior experience. The criteria for startups into manufacturing sector of prior experience have been like done away with. Yeah, but startup will have to demonstrate requisite capability to execute the project as per the requirement, and should have their own manufacturing facility in India. These are the two requirements. Even though there is no prior experience or turnover criteria, but the startup needs to demonstrate that they are capable enough, although they are not having prior experience, but they are capable enough to execute this tender, to execute this government work. Also, there is a waiver of EMD, as I already, and bid security while filing government tenders. Like startups are not required to submit EMD or bid security when they are applying for government tenders. There is an opportunity to list. There is a separate category in like GEM platform, startup runway. Yeah, that is especially focusing on startups, products like being provided by startups. So there is a special showcase in GEM platform of startup. So startups can take benefit of that. And I touched upon this, that there is self-certification benefit, that startups are allowed to self-certify their compliance under 6 labor and 3 environmental laws for a period of 3 to 5 years from the date of incorporation. This is a simple online procedure, and it can be done through Shram Suvidha portal. Like by visiting the Shram Suvidha portal, you can self-certify the labor laws and environmental laws. And also, no inspections will be done for a period of 5 years. The startup should not be worried that the inspectors will come to their unit and will like ask for the documents, all that. That things have been done away with if they are registered as a startup recognized by DPIT. The various labor laws are like, these are the building and other construction workers, migrant workers, Gratuity Act, contract labor, employees permanent fund, employees state insurance. The environmental laws are Water Act, Water Prevention and Control Cess, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. Also, the benefit is fund for startup. To provide equity funding support for development and growth of innovation-driven enterprises, the government has set aside a corpus of 10,000 crores managed by CPE. This fund is managed by CPE. The fund is in the nature of fund of funds, which means that the government participates in the capital of SEBI registered venture funds who invest twice the amount in startups. That is, VCs invest in startup, but the funding is being provided by government. So government is playing an indirect role. They participate in the capital of SEBI registered venture funds who ultimately invest in startups. So this is the flow. Also, one of the benefits for startups, if they are recognized, are faster exit for startups. As per the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, startups with simple debt structures or those meeting certain income specified criteria can be wound up within 90 days of filing an application for insolvency. An insolvency professional shall be appointed for the startup, who shall thereafter be in charge of the company, including liquidation of its assets and paying its creditors within 6 months of such appointment. Upon appointment of insolvency professional, the liquidator shall be responsible for the swift closure of the business, sale of assets, and repayment of creditors in accordance with the distribution waterfall set out in the IBC. This process will respect the concept of limited liability. The other benefit which is available to recognized startups is tax exemption for 3 years under Section 80 IAC of the Income Tax Act 1961. The recognized startups that are granted an inter-ministerial board certificate, just focus on the word inter-ministerial board certificate, because for claiming this tax holiday of 3 years, a certificate, this inter-ministerial board certificate is required. For getting the exemption from paying income tax for 3 consecutive financial years out of the first 10 years since incorporation. Likewise, if a startup has been incorporated during the 10 years, for any 3 years, the startup can take benefit of the tax exemption. But mind it, these benefits are only available to 2 types of entities, that is private limited companies or limited liability partnership. It is not available to registered partnership, although they are eligible to be recognized as a startup, but this particular incentive is not available to them. This is available only to private limited companies and limited liability partnerships. A brief procedure how it is done. The interministerial board validates the innovative nature of the business for granting income tax benefits and is constituted by representatives from DPIIT, DBT, and DST. I would like to emphasize one thing. Although this tax holiday benefit is there, but when you will visit the Startup India portal, what you will notice that there are recognized 69,000 around startups which have been recognized by DPIIT. But in this, out of this 69,000 startups recognized, only 450, like more than 450. Even if you say approx 500 startups are only like they have been exempted from paying tax. So the numbers are very much less. It is not very much increasing. The reason is that you can see the interministerial board, they looks into the innovative nature. They just check whether your business is like providing some benefit. It is unique in concept. It is there is an improvement in process. There is some innovative natures. So these criteria are very much stringent. And when entities satisfy these criteria, then only they can receive this certificate from the interministerial board, and then they can avail this tax exemption or tax holiday for 3 years. And I would say that if suppose the interministerial board rejects the application of startups, there is no remedy available. At present, there is no remedy available. The startup cannot do anything. If they have received the certificate, then only they can avail the exemption. If for any reason what the interministerial board feels their startup is not of innovative nature or whatever criteria they are having at their hand, they reject the startup and no remedy is available to startup at present at this juncture, that they can challenge the interministerial board certificate. Why it is why we were not being given the certificate, these things. Obviously, there is a mention that of a line, but still the stats are not very much increasing. The criteria is stringent, and when you look at the recognized number of startups and the startups who actually availed the benefit tax holiday, there is a wide gap, like 69,450. You can see the gap. There's it's very on a very lower side. And if you have startup want to take this tax exemption, the basic documents, registration documents required are memorandum of association for private limited company. And in case of limited liability partnership, LLP deed, board resolution if any, annual accounts of the startup for the last 3 financial years, income tax return for the last 3 financial years. These are the basic documents which are required to be submitted like for availing this like certificate and tax holiday benefit. Startup being a private limited company or limited liability partnership which fulfills the conditions specified in subclause 1 and subclause 2 of the explanation to section 80 IAC of the Income Tax Act may, for obtaining a certificate for the purpose of section 80 IAC of the Act, make an application in form 1 along with documents specified therein to the Interministerial Board of Certification, and the board may, after calling for such documents or information and making such inquiries as it may deem fit, grant the certificate referred to in subclause C of clause 2 of the explanation to section 80 IAC of the Act, or reject the application by providing reasons. And the other benefit is to DPIT recognized startup is exemption under section 56(2) 7B of Income Tax Act. A DP recognized startup is eligible for exemption from the provisions of section 56(2) 7B of the Income Tax Act. They are required to fill up the section 56 exemption application form. These are just tagged in the Startup India portal. There are like particular sections in the Startup India portal where when a startup will click, then a link and the sub page will open. So we as a chartered accountant can always like guide the startups how they can apply for the like 56(2) benefit for the tax holiday. We can give consultancy, hand holding and advisory in these areas. So investments into eligible startup by listed companies with a net worth of more than 100 crore or turnover more than 250 crore shall be exempt under 56(2)B of the Income Tax Act. That is, investment into eligible startup by aggregated investors, non-resident AIF category 1, listed companies with a net worth more than 100 crores or turnover more than 250 crore shall be exempt under section 56(2) 7B of Income Tax Act. Consideration of shares received by eligible startup shall be exempt up to an aggregate limit of INR 25 crore. Obviously, there must be some eligibility criteria, and in this case, the eligibility criteria are the startup should be a private limited company, should be a DPIT recognized startup, not investing in specified asset class. Startup should not be investing in immovable property. If a startup is investing in these type of immovable property, then they like investors will not get the benefit. Transport vehicles above 10 lakhs, loans and advances, capital contribution to other entities, except in the ordinary course of business. Yeah, apart from the various benefits which a DPIT recognized startup gets, there is other benefit. I can say like a whole, like a hand holding being provided by the Startup India Hub. Let's look into what are the benefits which a startup can get by registering in the Startup India portal. They can get the benefit of Startup India Hub. So let's see what is Startup India Hub. Startup India Hub is a one-stop platform for all stakeholders in the startup ecosystem to interact amongst each other, exchange knowledge, and form successful partnership in a highly dynamic environment. Startup India provides free resources to startup to help them scale faster, better, and stronger. Learning and development programs. In the hub, there are Startup India Hub, there are a lot of learning and development programs to guide budding entrepreneurs through the journey of their startup ventures. The website hosts a variety of courses and programs. Once you like register yourself, create a profile in Startup India portal, there are a lot of programs, courses, in tie-up with upgrade and all that, which a startup can take benefit of. And government scheme, centralized repository of all government schemes for the startup ecosystem, which can be filtered by relevant department and ministry for easy access. Like all the schemes of government and various ministry, the details are provided in the portal, and which the startup can easily filter out at one place only. They don't have to go here and there. In the portal, they can easily find all the details, relevant details of the schemes. State startup policy, single point to access all notified startup policy by the respective state government. The startup can also get the idea what particular states are offering to startups. State-wise policies that are also being, details of that are also being provided in the Startup India portal. Yes, this one is important. Pro bono services. Like free application, cloud credits, legal and banking support from the partners. You can see like Zoho, Amazon Web Services, many partners are there, like various platforms, various e-commerce companies are there who are providing pro bono services, which whose benefits the startup can take. There are conditions for first year or something like that. They can avail their services and they can take the benefit. Program and challenges. Startup can apply for acceleration, mentorship programs, and other challenges across the globe. There are a panel of mentors in the Startup India portal who provide guidance and hand-holding to the startup. Startup can connect with them over the portal, and then they can take help of those mentors. They bridge the gap and build connections. Any industry or department can solve for their business challenges by co-creating programs and challenges on the Startup India portal. Yeah, tools and templates. A repository of sample templates for all legal and HR documents, investor decks, deed, contract, etc. available in portal, which can be customized. If suppose a startup wants to create an investor decks on their own, or deed or contracts, which are the shareholding agreement or vendor agreement, all that thing, they can customize that because the samples and templates are available on the portal. I know they can do limited resources are there on the portal, but yes, they can take benefit of the tools and templates. They can customize that and use it there to their advantage. The another benefit of Startup India Hub is networking and discussion. Members of the startup ecosystem, that is startups, investors, mentors, incubators, accelerators, and government bodies, can connect with each other on the Startup India portal. Like there is a whole ecosystem. The investors are there, the startups are there, the mentors are there, the incubators are there, the accelerators are there, the government bodies are there, all are there available in the same portal at one place. So the platform provides the ecosystem members with the opportunity to discuss, express, and opine on the forum through discussion threads, blog, and one-to-one messaging. Like the startup can message the mentors, connect with the incubators, investors through this portal. So that this is a very good opportunity for startup if they register themselves on the Startup India portal. Yes, international bridges. This benefit is also available in the portal. Startup India enables global market access and knowledge exchange for Indian startups through bilateral government collaboration, commonly referred to as Startup Bridge. It enables startups, investors, incubators, accelerators, and aspiring entrepreneurs of both countries to connect with one another and provide them with resources to expand and become globalized startups. There are many international bridges with many country governments, which a startup can take benefit of. if they are like registered on Startup India portal. Yeah. So we have learned that there are so many benefits of a startup get recognized by DPIIT, but let's understand that what are the eligibility criteria to be recognized or considered as startup? Like when an entity will be considered as startup as per DPIIT. An entity shall be considered as startup if it meets the following criteria. There are certain criteria which an entity needs to fulfill to be considered as a startup and get DPIIT recognition. First, the entity age. The period of existence and operations of the entity should not exceed 10 years from the date of its incorporation / registration. Means the entity should not be more than 10 years old. If it has been incorporated, they can get the DPIIT recognition within a period of 10 years only. If they are like more than 10 years old, they cannot get the status as startups. So for being recognized in startup, the entity should not exceed 10 years from the date since when it was incorporated. This is the one important criteria. Entity type. The entity should be a private limited company, a registered partnership firm, or a limited liability partnership. Sole proprietorship is not eligible to be recognized as a startup. The entity type should be private limited companies, a registered partnership firm, and LLP. Only these three types of entities are eligible to be recognized as startup. Yeah. Annual turnover. The entity should have annual turnover not exceeding 100 crore for any of the financial years since the incorporation or registration. This is a very important criteria. For an entity to be considered as a startup, the turnover in any of the financial year, like in any of the financial year in these 10 years tenure, they should not, that annual turnover should not exceed 10 crores. If it exceeds 10 crore, then they cannot be considered as a startup. So the turnover should be in any financial years, out of the 10 financial years, should not be more than 100 crore. Yeah. This is also important criteria. Original entity means for being recognized as a startup, the entity should not have been formed by splitting up or reconstruction an already existing business. Like entity formed due to merger, demerger, acquisition, amalgamation, absorption will not be considered a startup. It should be an original entity. Similarly, entities formed due to compromise, arrangement as provided under the Companies Act 2013 will not be recognized as startup. These are the guidelines published after this announcement of the Startup India initiative to clarify that these entities cannot be considered as a startup. Holding including foreign holding, subsidiary companies will not be permitted for recognition. Any entity formed by joint venture will not be recognized. JVs, they cannot be considered a startup. Entities incorporated outside India. Like if you want to get yourself recognized as a startup, considered as a startup, you have to have your registration in India. Means you cannot incorporate your entity outside India. Many days we see that companies, they incorporate in Singapore or elsewhere because there the incorporation process is quite fast, and the compliance and regulatory support is also good as they feel, which is not at this moment available in India. So they incorporate outside India. So those entities will not be eligible to be recognized as a startup, and they cannot be recognized and started by the DPIIT. Incorporating additional entities having similar address with same production line or services and at least one common director, designated partner will not be recognized as startup. Similar address, similar production line, additional entities, these which have the common director and partner cannot be recognized as startup. Common directorship and partnership is not allowed. Any entity shall, one of the more important criteria to be recognized, considered as a startup is innovative and scalable. Very much important. Discuss the entity, age, type, turnover, original entity, and this is one of the most important criteria to be considered as a startup. The entity should work towards innovation, development or improvement of a product, process or service, or have scalable business model with high potential for creation of wealth and employment. These modifications have been done now. Earlier, it was innovation. Later, these things have been added, that improvement of a product process. Because due to this stringent criteria of only innovative, many startups were not being able to recognize. So this amendment have been done. Now the entity that works toward innovation plus the entity that works toward improvement of a product or service and have a scalable business model can also be recognized as a startup. An entity shall cease to be a startup on completion of 10 years from the date of its incorporation or registration. If an entity is like the timeline of 10 years, cross the timeline of 10 years, then it cannot be considered a startup. Suppose 11 years old entity is there, 12 years, beyond 10 years, then it cannot be considered as a startup. It cannot be considered a startup and cannot be recognized by DPI. Also, if in any of the financial year the turnover exceeds 100 crore rupees, then it will cease to have the status of startup. Okay, so moving forward, this is an important aspect for CA community. What is the procedure? We can always handle our client, give advice to our client, how they can get registered in the Startup India portal, how they can get the DPIT recognition, how they can get the tax benefit. So for getting all this thing, the first step is incorporate your business. Firstly, you need to incorporate your business as a private limited company or limited liability partnership or a partnership firm. You will have to follow usual procedure for registration of any business. It's not that you can go for DPIT recognition even if you are not having any legal structure or legal entity. First, you have to incorporate your business as a private limited company or LLP or partnership firm. Then only you can go for the next step, that is registering with Startup India and then subsequently getting DPIT recognition, all that. So first you need to incorporate your business. You will have to follow usual procedure for registration of any business, which involves getting a certificate of incorporation, PAN, and other required compliances. These things needs to be done before getting recognized. Then obviously after this incorporation of business step, you need to register with Startup India portal. Now you need to register your business as a startup in the Startup India portal. The entire process is simple and online. For this, you have to visit the Startup India website, that is www.startupindia.gov.in, and click on the register button. Entity have to enter their name, email ID, mobile number, password, and then click on the register button. Next, an OTP will be sent to their email ID, and then they are required to fill other details like the type of user, name and stage of the startup, etc. And then click on the submit button. After entering the OTP and filling other details, they need to click on the submit button. After entering these details, the Startup India profile will be created. That entity will be having a profile. Once the profile is created on the website, startups can avail benefits of Startup India Hub. Note, they can avail the benefits of Startup India Hub, that is mentoring support, connection, programs, schemes, all these things. But for getting DPIT recognition, there are other processes which they need to follow. To get DPIT recognition, they need to log in with their registered profile, which they have just created on the Startup India portal, and click on the DPIT recognition for startup. There is a page which displays DPIT recognition for startup in the home page only. There is a button, a section. the entity needs to click on that button, and this button is available under the tab Schemes and Profiles tab, or they can just go to the home page and then they can click on how to get recognized under government scheme and benefits. When they click on the Get Recognized button, a new page will open. They need to scroll down this page and click on the click here for submitting your application for recognition as a startup. A startup recognition form will then get opened. On the startup recognition form, the entity needs to fill details such as full address, authorized representative details, director partner details, other information required, startup activities and self-certification. Then click on the plus sign on the right-hand side of the form. There are many sub-options available and fill each section of the form. After filling all the sections of the startup recognition form, accept the terms and conditions and click on the submit button. Along with filling this form, there are few documents which needs to be uploaded. That is incorporation and registration certificate of your startup, proof of funding, if you availed any funding or that. If it is so, then you need to upload that. Authorization letter of the authorization letter of the representative of the company, LLP or firm, director details, proof of consent. Yes. Since you want to get recognized in a startup, you have to give a base, little bit information about your startup. As I told earlier, pitch deck or investor deck or teaser, which highlights what problem is in the society and what problem you are solving by incorporating your entity, how you are tackling that problem, and how you will earn revenue by addressing that problem. What is your revenue model? All these thing details are needs to be filled in the pitch deck, and then you need to upload that. If there is any website, if the startup has created any website, they need to put the link of that website, a short video where they'll give information about their business, what problem they are solving, how they how they learn revenue, what they are seeing in the future. All these things, short details, these things they need to upload. And if they have taken any patent and trademark, they need to upload that also. Sometimes startups are working, mostly they are working on innovative concept. So to protect that concept, they take they do patent filing. Although not final, they do provisional filing, because final approval takes time to secure their idea and innovation. They do provisional patent filing, and they can provide these details. And if they have received any awards and certificate from the government or any other institution for their the startup they have established, the problem they are solving, so they can upload all these things. And with the application, they provide the PAN number. Earlier, there was a requirement of letter of recommendation, sanction letters, Udyog Aadhaar, MSME certificate, GST certificates to be uploaded for DPIT recognition. Now these have been done away with. Now these things are not required to be uploaded. Then the final step, on applying, you will immediately get a recognition number. Once you fill the form, submit the form, upload the details, then a recognition number will be provided. The certificate of recognition will be issued after the examination of all your documents, which is usually done within 2 days after submitting the details online. Once you upload the application, upload the details, then a verification is done. Recognition number is generated simultaneously, immediately, but the certificate, that takes time of 2 days. And then you can download it from the portal only. So I would like to conclude that India has become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after the US and China, and has potential for enormous growth. Sustained government efforts in this direction have resulted in increasing the number of recognized startups, like the numbers have increased many-fold in these years. In 16-17 FY 16-17, the number of recognized startup was just 726, but in financial year 2023, as on 5th May 2022, the number was 69,384. So you just see the jump from 726 to 69,384. So like many startups are registering themselves on this portal and availing of the benefits, and the stats is on a higher side, and hopefully in the years to come there will be more recognized DPIT startups. To strengthen the startup ecosystem, the government has also rolled out the Startup India Seed Fund scheme. This scheme aims to provide financial assistance to startup for proof of concept, prototype development, product trials, market entry, and commercialization. Mainly startups, when go for bank funding, they require collateral, they require business, whether the business is established, how much whether the products have been gone to market or not. There is a little funding support available from bank who provide funding at seed stage for just for proof of concept, for development of prototype, for trials, market entry. There was not funding support available. So government came out with this Startup India Seed Fund scheme, which aims to fill this gap and provide opportunity to test their concept, to do prototype development, to do product trial, to do commercialization. And I'm hopeful that further modernization, ease of compliance, easier fund accessibility from foreign and domestic sources, recognition and rewarding programs are required from Government of India to ensure a superior startup ecosystem to help India reach its long-term goals. Thank you. This was all about the quick book which I have just written. Any questions from your side, I would be happy to answer. Any questions which anyone want to ask? No questions. Okay, I think I've made my point clear, and hopeful that whatever number of people who are attending the who are being live now or will be seeing at a later moment can understand what benefits are available for chartered accountant community, how they can leverage that benefit, and how they can play an active role in the Startup India ecosystem. Thank you very much.
We are thankful to CA Priyanka Gupta for his derivation on that one, is particularly MSME institutional framework. And we once again, that one is thankful to you for enlightening the participants in the particular way. That one is various aspects of the institutional framework. With this, we conclude the session. Thank you to all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.